1 in 9 Canadian women is expected to develop breast cancer during her lifetime. In 1999, Leila Springer's world was turned upside down when she was given this devastating diagnosis. She's here to share about her dramatic journey as well as why she has committed her life to coming alongside others facing that same challenge. Leila, take us back. 1999, when you first got your diagnosis. What happened?
1999 for me was a year I refer to as my turning point. It is just so devastating when you stop to think how quickly life can change.
Now, did you have family history of breast cancer?
No one in my family had cancer, any type of cancer.
Really?
So for me, I never gave much thought to cancer on a whole, and let alone breast cancer. So when I found a lump, and I believe, if I recall correctly, it was my husband that found the lump. Mm-hmm. And because I had a lump previously that proved to be benign, he said to me, "Oh, it's nothing, don't worry about it." But deep down inside, I knew that something was wrong. And I know that it was the Holy Spirit, it was God himself, that really prompted me to pursue it further. And I actually made that decision when I was in Jamaica. I was in Jamaica visiting my friend, and we were on the beach. And for some reason, I got to thinking about this lump that I was carrying around, that 3 doctors had already told me it was nothing, it was just a cyst. And the last doctor had said, come back in 6 months. Looking back at that now, had I waited 6 months, I would not be sitting here today.
So you had already seen 3 doctors, 3 different doctors.
3 different doctors.
That's really going the extra mile.
Yes.
And each of them told you, don't worry about it.
My family doctor didn't really say anything. He just simply referred me to another doctor. So it was my family doctor that referred me to another doctor, and that doctor did tell me that it was just a cyst, not to worry.
So you explored further?
So I explored further, and by the time I was diagnosed with breast cancer, it was 6 months later. So a lot of time had passed, and by that time I was stage 3 advanced breast cancer. So that was devastating for me. And I remember going home from the hospital, and I was crying all the way to my car. I'm thinking to myself, my goodness, cancer. And it is amazing. When I look back at it now, and I look back at the whole situation, breast cancer for a lot of us was considered a white woman's disease. So I never paid much attention to it, because I thought within our culture, back in those days, I know things have changed now, sickle cell disease was considered something that women of African descent got, or people of African descent got, but not, breast cancer, no, because all the promotion, we always saw Caucasian women. So it never occurred to most of us that we would get breast cancer. A lot's changed since 1999 to today. And so many of us now are paying attention, but not enough of us are paying attention to a diagnosis of cancer.
So when you had the diagnosis, you felt the need to reach out to someone, to some support group. What did you discover?
It happened because I was directed to a group at the hospital where I was treated. And I remember they asked us to tell them in a few sentences, a few words, how we felt after our diagnosis. And I remember sitting behind, I was about 5 rows back, and one lady started, to tell how she felt, and she said, the first thing I did was pray, and she was promptly stopped. So I thought to myself, well, what am I going to say? I'm going to say the same thing, because it was prayer that got me through. It was my faith in God that got me through. And if I can't say that here, why am I here? Yeah. So I got home and I said, okay, God, I have to do something. And I got on the phone and I tried to call different churches, and I called the head offices of these churches to see if there was a support group, if there was anywhere I could plug in, and there wasn't. And it was a really dark day when I was on my bed after chemo, and I really was feeling very weak that day. I could hardly get off the bed. And I lay down on the bed on my back and I said, God, there has to be something that I can do. And if there is no place that I can turn, I'm a Christian, I know that. I've got a church, I know that. But at this particular time, I need something tangible, someone I can talk to, someone I can sit around. Let's just talk about the goodness of the Lord. But that wasn't there for me. So I made a vow to God that if he should make me better, that I would do something about that. And I said to him, you know, in one of my dark days, I said, you know, God, I want to ask you to heal me. But why should you heal me to keep on doing the same things I was doing? I have to be doing something purposeful with my life. So what is that something that I need to say, God, heal me, and after you heal me, this is what I'm going to pursue with all of my might. And that was to help other women that's diagnosed with breast cancer.
And so your life's passion was born out of your darkest hour.
Exactly. Those are the exact words my pastor said to me when I went
Really?
to talk to him about what I was feeling. And he said, you know, a lot of people's ministry began out of journeys such as yours.
Yes.
And it's so true.
And so in 2001?
So in 2001, I got together with some other ladies, specifically Winsome Johnson, one of my church members, and she's actually you should talk to her sometime. She survived breast cancer. I think it's 20 years now, and she was stage 4. And so we got together and we started the Olive Branch of Hope. And our main thrust was to reach these women that are feeling hopeless. And within our culture, we don't talk about health issues, much less breast cancer. So our challenge has been very great to get the women to somehow feel more comfortable and to be trusting enough to look for that help and that support.
So the Olive Branch of Hope is really a safe gathering place for women of color who are experiencing the devastation of a breast cancer diagnosis.
Yes, it's, you know what, we open our arms to anybody that is looking for that support. We focus on women of color just because of the cultural issues and the differences and the things that we experience. But we do not turn anyone away. Anybody that needs that support, anyone that needs that help, they can come to us or call us, and we are there for them.
Having gone through this journey, can you tell us what is one of the biggest misconceptions that we have about breast cancer?
The misconception is that cancer is a death sentence, and it is not. Research has gone a long way, and more people are living with breast cancer now than in previous years. And they can do marvelous things now. I mean, the treatment that I got for breast cancer, I remember them saying to me, we have to bring you as close to death as possible to bring you back to life, when they were speaking about the chemotherapy. And I remember when I took that course in Denver to learn the science of breast cancer, and the type of chemotherapy that I took at that time is no longer given to people because it's so toxic. And I sat there thinking to myself, this is nice to know after I got it, but here I am. And I don't credit my survival to just the treatment. I know it was the grace of God. I know he had a reason for me. I know he had a purpose. And he looked down and he saw me wasting time doing a lot of other things. And he said, it's time that you shape up, and allowed my life to be touched by the evil one, because I know it's not God that did that to me. And out of that came...
You have such a bright outlook coming out of this very dark place, Leila. I imagine there are women watching right now who are in the middle of the darkness. Maybe they've just received a breast cancer diagnosis, or they're right in the middle of the chemotherapy where they feel like they're being pushed as close to death as possible and then drawn back. What would you say to those women watching who say, oh, I need that hope that you have?
I would say to them that God is real, that Jesus is still our healer. He still keeps. And the one thing we can do as women is to put our trust and our faith in him. The one thing we must not do is fear cancer. I think the fear kills more people than the cancer itself, being so afraid of it. But knowing that there is hope, and every woman needs to know that there is hope. There are things we can do. You know, there are other people that we can rely on. We have great doctors, we have great medicine, we have all of those things. But the one thing that we all need is to have that very strong faith that we can hold fast, knowing that the darkness will pass.
Yes.
One day that darkness will pass. It passed for me. I looked beyond the chemotherapy. My friend said to me, don't look at tomorrow. You're going to have 6 months of chemotherapy, so look at September when it's going to be ending. So that was my light, September. I was in April, but I was looking at September. And every woman needs to look beyond the present situation and know that God is able and that we will get through the darkness and that there is light at the end of our journey.
And God will walk with you through that journey. I love that. In the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 1, beginning at verse 8, it says this: God himself is right alongside to keep you steady and on track, if you'll let him be there. God, who got you started in this spiritual adventure, shares with us the life of his Son and our Master Jesus, that life that comes alive in us, that fuels us for whatever lies ahead. He will never give up on you, never forget that. God's word is full of encouragement for you no matter what you are going through right now. Leila, I know that your foundation, the Olive Branch of Hope, also has an event coming up.
Yes, we have a wonderful event that's coming up on October the 20th, and we would like as many women as possible to attend this event, survivors or not. And we want the support. We need, every survivor needs to know a non-survivor is behind her. And that's what October the 20th is about. And it's going to be held at Destiny Banquet and Convention Center on 4220 Steeles Avenue West in Toronto. And we want as many women as possible to attend this event. It's going to be great. We are going beyond the pink. And I know when we think of pink, we mainly think of all the Western culture and those middle class women that are out there running and walking and doing
raising
all those
awareness.
wonderful things.
Yes.
Raising awareness. We want to go beyond the pink and say, you know what? There are real lives behind these pink scarves. There are real lives behind these pink ribbons. There are real lives behind all the pink, merchandise that we see these days. So let's look at these women. Let's look at their lives. Let's find out how we can help them.
Personalize
Let's walk with them.
I like that.
You know, not leave them alone, but let's walk with them. Let's encourage them.
Let's be there for them.
Be there for
every
them.
month of the year, not just
October.
All
but
right. Well,
every month of the year.
if you want information, further information on this event coming up, just visit our website at 100huntley.com, and there will be a link there for Leila's website and all of the information for this event. Leila Springer, thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much.
It's so good
it's been
to
a pleasure.
have you.